All right, so we're going to move on to the next part of the problem, and we're going to use a uniform distribution to calculate out our randomness. Now, remember, a uniform distribution means that between two numbers, there's an equal chance that any of the different little parts is going to happen. So here's our uniform distribution. It is a lower limit of 100, upper limit of 300. So if we go back to our discrete model, we'll see that that's the same upper and lower limit, except instead of having these different percentage chances for each of these instances to happen, we're going to have an equal chance for all of those. So first thing let's do is let us make sure that our average demand, because remember, that is what he wants to order, is he wants to order the average demand, and that's what we're going to compare against. So let me just abbreviate that. So equals, and we'll do average of these two numbers. Okay, so the average demand, just like with the last one, is still only 200, which is what we're expecting. And so let's order quantity, let's put in 200 order quantity for this one, because that's just our placeholder. We will change that. So for now, what we're going to do is demand. So we don't have a lookup table here because I just know it's between 100 and 300. So what we're going to use is we're going to use rand between. Between this one, we have a lower and an upper limit. So rand between is a little bit different than rand because it is a uniform discrete function. It is not a continuous one. So it will randomly generate a uniform variable between the upper and lower limits. Now it's not just so when I'm saying uniform variable, a uniform discrete variable. This is what's going to give me an integer. So whenever I have rand between, we will have an integer coming out. So we're going to go rand between, turns a random number between what numbers we specify. And so we're going to go, here's our upper limit, hit F4 to lock that in, and our lower limit, we're going to lock that in too. So now every single time that this recalculates, it will give me a random integer between 1 and 300. And so there we go. 143 calendars is what our demand is going to be for this one. And so we're going to set the rest of this up very similar to the last one. So our revenue, once again, our revenue is going to be based on how many calendars that we can sell at full price, which will be the lesser of these two numbers. Because if I order 200 but demand's only 143, that's all I'm going to be able to sell. So we'll take the minimum of that value and the order quantity, and we will lock, oops, keystroke that wrong, between that number and that one there, and we will put our dollar signs in to make sure that doesn't move. And so whatever that minimum value is, we will then multiply it by how much revenue that we're going to get, and we will also lock that one in. So the revenue in this case, bought 200 calendars, all 200 of them sold, revenue's $2,000. So our cost is going to be constant for all these. It's going to be the order quantity, and we'll lock that in, and then we'll multiply that by the unit cost, and we'll also lock that one in. So in our case of 200 order quantity, it's always going to be 1,500. Okay, and we go back to our refund. This is where we have to write our if statement. So if our order quantity, which we will lock in, is greater than our demand. So if we have a situation where we've ordered more than we have demand, we're going to have to send some of them back. How many are we going to send back? Well, we're going to send back that order quantity locked in minus whatever the demand is. And so if I end that here, that's just going to give me the number of calendars that I'm over by. So I order 200, I only sell 120. I have 80 of them. I need to get a refund for those. And so then I will multiply that by my refund price. You might be going, wait a second, you only put in one condition. You only gave me the value if true. Why didn't you put something in for the value if false? Well, the thing is, the value if false just always defaults to 0. So since we're just going to put a 0 in there anyway, I left it out. But if the OCD is getting to you, we can go and put the 0 in, and it's not going to change anything for the equation. Let me put this down to 1,000 just to make sure that we can't possibly. Oh, I wasn't thinking. Let me put this at 0, so it can't possibly have a refund. I'll put that back at 200 now. And then our profit, we do it the same way. We are going to equal our revenue plus our refund minus our cost. And so that gives us a $500 profit in this situation. I'm going to drag this down for my 1,000 replications. And there we go. We'll draw this back up to the top. And once again, we see we got value problems, so I did mess something up. Let's see which ones that we forgot to lock in. And we forgot to lock in that B13 because we needed to have that stop as the unit cost. I'm sorry, the refund price, the unit refund. So that B6, forgot to lock that in. We'll just make that change there. And then just quickly going through here just to make sure that everything indexed like I expected it to. I immediately jumped to that one because I saw an error, but I do like going through and just randomly checking that. All right, and so from here, now this one's definitely different than the other one because we do have a bunch of different numbers that can show up because we're getting discrete values for each one of these demand numbers. But let's just calculate out our average profit again. And I'm just going to grab everything here so we can take a look at it. So finish that out. There's my average profit. And I'm just going to copy these numbers here to make my life a little bit easier. So standard deviation of the population, because we have the whole population. I'm just going to control, paste in that array range. So we get our minimum, paste in that array range again. And then we're going to go to our maximum and paste in that array range. Now, as we go, I would not expect to see the maximum and minimum change just because we have the same kind of numbers over 1,000 that are going to pop up. So those should always, the 1,000 should be enough to find that maximum and minimum. Okay, so now I want to take a look at what's happening with that profit as I go. So equals, I'll bring over my average profit. I will highlight this entire thing. I will go data into the what if analysis data table. We're going to change stuff in the column. And I want to take from this data in the column, I want to replace that order quantity. So we'll go over here and say in the column, replace that. Say OK. That will spit out my profit numbers just like we did before. Let's go to home, conditional formatting. We're going to use that color set, just use that normal one. And using this one that we can see that we've got a slightly larger band here. Actually, let's, instead of, I don't know why it was highlighting that. I should probably be highlighting these. So let's highlight these here, put it in a nice light green. So it kind of, maybe that's too light. Yes, my aesthetic choices are an exceedingly important part of doing this lecture. We'll do it in purple. That's the other Dr. Camp's favorite color. So as we look there, our high end is going to be somewhere between 125 and 200 calendars ordered. With it looks like, once again, the highest being clustered around that 150, 175 point. Now at this point, we can do exactly what we did before, is we can go back, look at the different average profits, look at the frequencies for this one. But since the first set of videos for the first one were really long, and we're going to be doing that when we go over here to the normal. And we're going to be doing something different than we did with the discrete, where we're going to be binning together a lot of these so we can say, hey, am I going to make a profit or not? Or am I going to make so much of a profit? So I'm going to leave that for the normal one. So this will just be a one video for this section of how to do it, but you can most definitely go and we can do the post analysis just like we did with the other ones. But I've already shown you how to do that with the discrete. I'll show you how you would do it with the normal, which includes this one here. But with that, I'm going to end the video here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll get together in the next video where we're going to do the normal distribution.